to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, Adam here, and in this hypnosis session, you're going to be listening to hypnosis all about releasing anger, resentment, sadness, even frustration about the aftermath of a breakup. And I was working with a client that had really felt that they'd put everything into that relationship. They really gave it their all, and a lot of their core needs weren't met. They felt that they compromised too much and gave too much of themselves away without it being reciprocated. And because of that, they were feeling a lot of sadness, a lot of resentful feelings, and a feeling of a sense of injustice that somehow they were responsible for how they were feeling. So what this hypnosis session does is primarily reconnects them with a resourceful state. In the moment of this aftermath, they weren't feeling positive. They weren't feeling resourceful. They didn't have a sense of peace or optimism. So the beginning of this hypnosis session takes them back to a point where they really did feel that, a time in their life where they felt wildly optimistic and kind of peaceful and connected. And it has an extra level of disassociation. So there was a particular sofa that they could connect with, that they really felt while they're on that sofa in a peaceful, meditative sense. There was rolling hills and a lake that was good anchors for them. And they could also recall being in a new country with a sense of excitement, optimism, and positivity. And what that does is it anchors and rekindles, resurrects those neural pathways that are linked to highly emotive states that are resourceful. But then it's very important that we give a different perspective. A lot of people, when they're dealing with the aftermath of a relationship, tend to almost teleport back into a first-person perceptual position, like they're reliving a moment of all the good things that happened. And obviously, if the relationship ends, not everything was perfect. But by doing that, it can create a feeling of comparison where you're remembering amazing times of connection and love and positivity, and then comparing that to not having that in the moment. That can feel like almost a form of grief. A lot of people do this in the grief cycle, where they remember wonderful moments with someone that's no longer alive, and then when they reconnect with being in the present, they're left with this contrast that that person isn't around anymore. So it's really important to disassociate, particularly in a relationship breakup, to know that those good memories happened, but not feel associated to them, but also have a look at this frame of, well, knowing what I now know, what would I do differently in that relationship? And what that frame does is take a lot of wisdom and experience from exactly the same perspective. And that's really important. But what's also important for people that feel resentful is this sense of injustice, that this person makes me feel this way. Therefore, the locus of control is external. While it's with them, there's nothing that you can do about these emotions. If it's a sense of what I'm feeling is natural because I've lost something that I valued, I can extract all of the wisdom about what's really important in a relationship and disassociate from those things that weren't so good, but in doing so, creating very clear boundaries and a criteria of what's really important in the future. Then it creates the possibility that in the future, they could look back, and even though that relationship didn't work out, they could be grateful for all of the reconnaissance that they elicited from that relationship. So there's a lot going on here, and the kind of person that would benefit most is someone that has recently broken up and still has quite strong feelings connected with that previous relationship, particularly if it's things of a sense of injustice or lack of fairness that could even breed resentment. Then you'll get more value from this. Now, it was created for an individual, therefore some of the suggestions would have been very suited to the person I was working with and might not at all be relevant to you. So on that basis, ignore any suggestions that don't quite fit, hone in to the core intentions of the suggestions that are helpful for you. And if you like the idea of working with me directly, there will be a link in the description or the show notes, or you can visit my website, adamcox.co.uk. And on there, you can schedule a completely free consultation call. We'll have a chat, because it might be that I'm the right person to work with you and your specific situation. For now, though, even though this session was created for someone else, it may be valuable or at least useful for you. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
For the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a slow, long, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, feel a sense of release. Any pent-up emotions just feel like a release valve, that it's leaving your body in that outward breath, exhaling for longer, and then breathing in deeper. And just allow that diaphragm to be awakened and activated. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And exhaling any tension, stress, and worries. Just feel like it's slowly leaving your body. And I want your intuition to wonder that if hope had a color, what color would it be? And just imagine breathing in that color of hope, feeling it going down into your lungs. Imagine your heart harnessing that color of hope and distributing it to every cell in your body. And as you breathe out, just imagine a dark, shadowy color leaving your body in your outward breath. Any tension, any resentment, any anxiety, just feel it leave your body in that outward breath. Breathing in that color of hope and exhaling all of those dark shadows that represent disempowering emotions that have been haunting you. That's it. And then think of a color of distilled confidence. Imagine breathing in that color of confidence. Again, imagine it there in your lungs. Imagine the heart taking that color, making sure every cell of your body gets that confidence. You don't have to think about how your body takes in oxygen and exhales carbon dioxide. But just imagine there's an emotional transfusion taking place. Breathing in hope, breathing in confidence, and exhaling any anger, resentment, frustrations, any feelings of loss. Just allow it to leave your body that's it. And because this emotional transfusion is taking place based on your breath, I want you to think of a time many years ago, there lying on a leather couch, practicing breath work. And I want you to imagine you're back there on that leather sofa, maybe a blanket over your knees, a wooden table nearby. Perhaps you remember those rhythms or ratios of breathing. And just imagine this time, you're breathing in those bright distilled colors of hope, peace, and confidence. As you exhale anything that you know you can release it and want to release it. Because why would someone hold on to something painful? It's a teacher. But once your unconscious has learned the lesson, that pain is no longer needed. So feel like you're already learning everything you can. Even a moment of trauma has some treasure buried deep, and as you extract the value, you can release any of that emotional pain. Just feel it leave your body. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you feel. And the more relaxed you feel, the deeper you breathe. And as your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. So let's imagine that sofa and that table being teleported to a sunny day, close to a lake with rolling hills. You know the ones. Very soon I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. And you will imagine drifting off into a dreamlike sleep there on that sofa. You did that once or twice. Continue to breathe in that resourceful feeling and exhale anything unresourceful. 5, eyelids getting heavier. 4, loosening your jaw. 3, neck and shoulders. Start to let go of all of that tension you've been holding on to. 2, arms and legs feel limp, loose, heavy. Just like the limbs of a puppet with no strings. As 2 drifts down into 1, feel yourself sinking deeper into that leather sofa that represents reflecting, learning, growth and evolution, all there on that sofa. And then just imagine 0 drifting off into a dreamlike sleep. But in that dreamlike sleep, you're in the same place, just no longer in your body. Imagine standing beside the sofa. Just see and check just how deep you are. Imagine picking up one of your arms, feeling it limp and loose, letting it go, seeing it flop down by your side there on the sofa. And then imagine walking over to the lake. It's a sunny day, but I want you to imagine this lake has choppy waves. It's restless, not at ease. But as you breathe in, that feeling of peace and relaxation, and continue to exhale in that long outward breath. Breath by breath, the lake calms. Almost like the lake is now the canary in the coal mine to represent your nervous system. So as you regulate your breathing, those long exhales, notice that you have the power to calm that choppy lake. That's it. The waves get smaller, calmer, and feel that adjustment in your physical body. Feel it. Maybe there's some clues. Requires less effort to breathe. Less tension in the jaw. A lightness. Just for a moment, imagine if your head was like a helium balloon. Light supported all by itself. And I want you to connect back to that feeling of peace and calm that you would feel on those walks around those hills and by that lake. Ideas buzzing, thinking of a future, all the possibilities. And then imagine glimpsing a future version of you that didn't exist yet. Just imagine seeing yourself in your future outside an Airbnb waiting for an Uber, and see that look of pride, accomplishment, optimism and possibility. And when you know it's there in that version of you, 100% sure, let me know by nodding your head. Remember, it's that version of you. You remember the one. That's it. And then float into that version of you. You might even remember what you were wearing. Even the pattern of the stars in the sky. You may remember what phone you had to place the Uber order. But I want you to connect with that feeling of unbridled optimism, hope, positivity. Breathe that way now. Breathe the way you were breathing then. Connect with that feeling and scan your body for where that feeling of hope exists and just point to that location. That's it. And I want you to imagine a three-dimensional shape in that specific location. Maybe a pyramid, a cube, or something else. Give it a color and turn up the brightness until that color starts to glow. Notice if that three-dimensional shape is rotating, pulsating, moving in some way. And if it is, just speed up the rhythm so it amplifies that feeling of hope, optimism, and positivity. And as it does so, you reawaken all of the neural pathways connected to that way of thinking. That's it. Connect a sound to it. Maybe the tonality of your inner dialogue back then when you were in that hopeful, positive mood. Maybe there was a phrase you used to say. Maybe it had the word yes. I've got this. It's going to be fine. You'll know the words. Connect that sound to that shape in that color. Increase the size, feel that wonderful feeling of hope, optimism. That's it. And take that feeling and imagine being back in that peaceful place there by the lake. See that logical, analytical version of you fast asleep on a leather couch with a blanket over your knees and stare above the now calm water of the lake. And on there, I want you to imagine seeing a three-dimensional hologram over the lake. You're just an observer, it's not you. But allow that detachment to give you a new level of insight. I want you to imagine seeing how a relationship started. You're not in your body, you're just watching. It's just floating over the lake. I want you to see all of those things that made it so appealing, so desirable. These may be things that your unconscious desires, or that you thought you desired. Because as you watch, allow your unconscious to pan for gold, to take out those nuggets of wisdom, insight, and discernment from the past. I want you to see those early memories that you valued, not with a wistful feeling, but a feeling of calm detachment, because you're seeing yourself appreciate those things from a distance. Imagine seeing perhaps what now would be considered of an early red flag, some representation of lack of alignment or incongruency. Again, detached, no emotion, just distilling wisdom. I want you to allow any wonderful memories to give you a feeling that this is what happens when you choose to go all in. You're not punished by it. You're rewarded. Because either you win or you learn. Holding back means you may never win, and certainly won't learn. It's not a cause of resentment to want something, to be exactly as you want it to be. I want you to feel it's an act of courage. I want you to see that version of you being aligned with your values. And as you continue to see that relationship distill down into a hologram over a lake, just jump to the most significant moments through a lens of hindsight, knowing what you now know. What would, if anything, you have done differently? Each moment gives you the ability to extract all the more nuggets of wisdom from that relationship. I want you to get a sense that all those moments that weren't quite right are simply reconnaissance, giving you now a treasure map to know exactly what kind of relationship is worth going all in for. You've not lost. You're simply more prepared now than you've ever been. Continue to see those moments. And I want you to get a sense that everything you would have done slightly different is evidence. Evidence that you've extracted the value from the past. Knowing that even resilience comes from some form of pain or discomfort. So any pain that you've been feeling doesn't break you, doesn't damage your source code. It strengthens the very nature of who you are. Just imagine that you've got a remote control. Fast forward, rewind. Imagine changing certain key moments to see if it would ripple through time and make anything different. And if every connotation still means that this wasn't the right relationship for you, well then, just allow yourself to feel that to break that sunk cost fallacy requires absolute courage, decisiveness, determination. Because so many people settle, so many people compromise and compromise until there's nothing left. But that wasn't you. See the end, the final few weeks. And I want you to feel compassion, empathy, understanding for that version of you. You did something that wasn't easy, but was necessary. And I want you to feel proud of that version of you. And when your unconscious feels that you are extracting the value of that relationship, wistfulness is simply eliciting what you value, and resentment is eliciting where boundaries were perhaps broken or not respected. It's all reconnaissance. And I want you to leave that hologram feeling a sense that at some point in the future, you will be grateful for this pain and this past. Allow the hologram to dissolve. And now imagine yourself at some point in the future, maybe 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years from now. But I want you to see that future version of you with a new level of optimism, hope, a spring in your step, irrefutable evidence that nothing was permanently broken. And I want you to see that future version of you in a relationship that structurally had all of those things that you valued, but also many of the things that you felt weren't met. See that future version of you smiling. See that future version of you living life at a certain intensity and having all of the emotional and physical resources to excel in that context. And imagine that future relationship is supportive, understanding, celebrating the successes, but also there for support when it's needed. And that future version of you would be proud of your recent decision and grateful of your courage to make it. So imagine floating into that future version of you, feeling how you would feel when you're through this patch and out on the other side. Connect with that feeling that you can look back on that relationship from the future with no resentment, no feeling of loss, no feeling of being broken, no anxiety, no injustice, but gratitude, not fake gratitude. When someone says they wish them well, real gratitude. Grateful that you went all in. I'm grateful that you learned so much. And if you can connect with that feeling that at some point in the future that would be absolutely true, even if you don't know when that would be, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Allow the possibility that sometimes not just good things, but amazing things come from bad things. You know that to be true. And you also know the power of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So allow this to plant a seed of an idea. Not that what's happened could lead to good things, but that it will. It absolutely will. And as that belief takes root, you will notice more and more clues to convince you that you did the right thing. You didn't lose, you gained. You gained the reconnaissance, the resilience, and the wisdom required to lead to a much, much better future. And now that seed's planted, imagine floating back to the lake and connect with that feeling of peace, hope, optimism. Feel your nervous system is relaxed and calm. And then just imagine climbing into that version of you fast asleep on a leather sofa under the blanket. And teleport that back all the way to a home of your past. Connect with that feeling, reawaken those neural pathways. And now, it's time to leave this place. But allowing certain ideas to form. Certain ideas that the more you think about them, the truer they become. And the truer they become, the more your nervous system calms and relaxes. Knowing that perhaps it was all necessary. Necessary for your future self, your future life, your future happiness. It's time to leave this place in your imagination. A place of ideas within ideas, thoughts within thoughts, dreams within dreams. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.